Hello, Wisconsin. This is Eric Foreman bringing you a brand new audio commentary for WCReplays.com. Copyright 2007, WCReplays.com. So here it is, the dreaded Undead Mirror. Not just any Undead Mirror, but the most banal of... Well, no. Fiend vs. Fiend is the most banal of them all. This is the second most banal of them all. Lich Ghoul versus Lich Ghoul. I say Fiend vs. Fiend is more banal because it just involves a hell of a lot of creeping. Fortunately, Lich Ghoul Guard, you see quite a few bit more fights. This game is actually pretty exciting. Believe it or not, it's hard to find an Undead Mirror game that doesn't end in like the first 15 minutes or sometimes even the first 5. While I babble on about the introduction, go ahead and get the game paused at the 2-minute mark. There's not really anything worthwhile being said about the build orders, except that for a Lich Ghoul build, you almost always are going to go like the fairly late altar version, so you get Crypt, Ziggurat, 2 Acolytes, and then wait till you get enough gold and build your altar. Trying to get your Lich before that doesn't really do you a hell of a lot of good, because you need your ghouls to collect enough lumber so that you can start your tier 2 within a reasonable amount of time. So there's really just not a whole hell of a lot the Lich can go do besides himself, other than just go get damaged on him from trying to creep or something like that. And as I will talk about, it's not a good idea to take any unnecessary damage on your Lich. So, hopefully you've got this game paused at the 2-minute mark, because I'm ready to go. So, here we go. 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay. Basically, when your Lich finally does pop out, hopefully you will have enough lumber. You notice both players scattered each other with acolytes. Scouting with ghouls really works just fine, because you can do the little thing where you attack one of his peons with your ghoul, and he's got to run around the mine, and he loses some gold, and maybe screws up his micro and stuff like that, builds the wrong building in the wrong place because he's just so freaking mad that you attacked his acolyte. Okay, maybe that doesn't usually happen, but I like to pretend that it does. Okay, both players are at this point waiting for enough lumber to build up, so they have just grabbed their Lich and like a couple of skeletons, and they're kind of chasing around, or they're kind of just patrolling around, trying to make sure the other person isn't creeping fast. Because say the other person does decide to make a sacrifice, they're going to wait their tier 2 a little longer and try to get a fast level 2 on their Lich. If you sneak up behind him with the Lich, a couple skeletons, and a ghoul, you can pop a Nova on their ghouls and really kind of screw them over while they're creeping, and then they have no advantage for having crept early, and you've got a faster tech than them, and that sort of thing. By the way, go ahead and watch this game from the observer point of view. Sweet's gonna start creeping with his ghouls, and he's gonna very smartly kind of post his Lich out. You lose the damage of the Lich actually hitting the ghouls, but he knows Fav's Lich is kind of hanging around, and he doesn't want to get jacked from behind with Nova in that situation that I just described to you. The two are about to fight pretty soon. They're going to exhibit 2 different strategies, both of which are equally valid when you're going in a Lich versus Ghoul fight in the early game. Sweet is going to go after the opponent's ghouls, and Fav is going to try to put damage on Sweet's Lich. Either one kind of hamper your opponent quite a bit. If the ghouls are damaged, unless he finds something to cannibalize, it's going to be harder for him to creep. And likewise, if somebody's Lich takes too much damage, they've actually got to play pretty cautiously with it. And furthermore, if they don't, I've seen quite a few, even pro-level games, where one person kills the other person's Lich, and it's GG in like 6 minutes. I've had games go that way. If somebody manages to pop off your Lich and you don't get, like, say, a lot of ghoul kills for it or something like that, they're just going to be able to go creep or maybe even screw your base over, and it's going to be over. So don't lose your Lich. Don't take damage on your Lich if you can absolutely avoid it. That includes, like, when you're creeping. Don't tank damage from the creeps on your Lich. That's a pretty big mistake, because with 2 Novas and a few swats from the ghouls, a few attacks from an opponent's Lich, if your Lich has taken any substantial amount of damage, he's going to get screwed pretty badly. Sweet's still attempting to creep. Fav, on the other hand, is going for the harass. This is really just a matter of preference. Either one can be extremely effective. The only thing about Fav's harass here is it's actually a little bit on the late side, and if you notice, Sweet's tier 2 just finished. I think that if Sweet had been only halfway through his tech or something like that, he probably would have had Town Portal on this situation, because he is going to lose quite a few acolytes, and considering he manages to get some good experience on his Lich while he's kind of delaying things, it was worth it to take the hit. You notice Fav's Lich took a lot of damage. That's basically how he got Fav to leave his base, was just by focusing his tower and I think a couple ghouls on Fav's Lich. And you notice he posted a little trap with his ghouls in the middle of the map, so he was going to try and get a kill on Fav's Lich here. So this is a very risky type of matchup in that sense. There's a lot of situations where it can go either way. Like if Sweet had managed to get a kill on Fav's Lich as he was leaving at that time, and that's why Fav sent it in that very circuitous path around the map, because he knew Sweet was probably going to try and do something like that. So if he'd lost his Lich there, that pretty much would have been game over. Now Sweet, he lost a bunch of acolytes there. He had to spend the money to rebuild them. So resource-wise, Fav is a little bit ahead. But Sweet has managed to turn the situation into a hero level advantage for himself. He got a couple of kills on Fav's ghouls back in his base, and so he was basically just creeping enough green camps to get his Lich up to level 3, which once you get level 3 on your Lich, you either get level 2 Nova, which is great in the sense that it does twice as much area of effect damage. Or actually, in Sweet's case, I don't know if he misclicked or if he did this on purpose. I can see the validity of it. He actually seems to have trained Dark Ritual level 2 instead. And I think the idea is he wants to basically keep harassing Fav here. So with that level 2 Dark Ritual, he's not going to run out of mana. Because keep in mind, Dark Ritual has that initial cost of 25 mana. So even though it doubles the amount of mana, I think, that you get from whatever you eat. But once you've paid that 25% cost, or 25 mana cost to begin with, each level stacked on top of that just makes you stronger. So gist of that's a lot of math craft, but you get a whole lot more mana out of level 2 Dark Ritual than you get out of level 1. So that's what Sweet has opted for in this case. This way he can just keep bugging Fav, because he knows he's got a hero level advantage. Anytime you have 3 and your opponent has 2 on his Lich, that's a good time to go just harass the crap out of him and just make it as difficult and expensive for him as possible to reach level 3. Because Lich levels are very much a winning factor in Undead Mirror, and I'll talk a little bit more about that because we're going to see it have an effect. Let's see. Fav, basically knowing that he had extra resource, was able to get a slaughterhouse a little bit earlier. In this situation, when you're going Lich Gargs, you generally, base build wise, you generally don't want to go for too fast of a level 3, a tier 3. You don't want to have your opponent get a lot more Gargs than you do, because he's basically going to be able to control the map in that case. It's better to, start pumping your Gargs, maybe even start a Slaughterhouse, although I guess it's sort of a matter of preference. But Slaughterhouse can help, especially the Slaughterhouse is helping Fav immensely here, because with Sweet kind of picking at his units with Nova, it really helps to have that Obsidian statue to be able to heal it off. So if you have a lot of wounded units from